Hi.
Hey, what's going on?
Not a lot. Hi, welcome to Western Montana Views. I'm Lee.
I'm Ryan. We're the Mouthy Montanans.
Yeah, we can be mouthy.
Western Montana Views is our running commentary on topics that interest us, from the outdoors to running commentary.
Our first topic we want to talk about today is the biggest story in the world, and that's COVID. So we'll address this from time to time, but we'll talk about it now and get it out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
What's your ideas about COVID?
Well, COVID's a deadly disease, not just for what's normally talked about, but I truly think COVID is a disease of, big numbers. Like, if large numbers of people don't vaccinate, if large numbers of people don't isolate, if large numbers of people don't just follow the rules, it doesn't matter what the guidance is.
That all has to happen at the same time.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, and that little disclosure here. We've been in isolation for 260 plus days. From the first time that we heard that it might be a good idea to isolate, we locked her down.
Mm-hmm. I just think that this disease is just something that people do need to work together with in order to survive, whether it's a small family group or larger as a nation. I think it's just, you can't just go out and be selfish right now.
Right, it's one of those hang together or hang separately sort of things.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, well, and we're lucky to be able to isolate because of serendipity, the way that we've kind of set ourselves up even before COVID hit. We've streamlined and downsized and got to living real trim for this. So in locking down, it wasn't that difficult for us.
Well, we're homebodies anyway, but the thing is there were some right steps made. Not to get into too personals, but for example, a paid off house really goes a long way.
It really goes a long way, yes, indeed.
And I think it's one of those things where if you're constantly just outlaying money, even during the good times, if you're just not saving for a rainy days or a rainy year such as this,
you're
going to be in trouble.
You do have to pay attention to your finances and live within your means if you're a wise person, because you can't live a champagne diet on a beer budget.
Yep.
Even recent reports here, we're into the 1st of December. And even the most latest reports from the CDC say that our numbers are about 8 times higher as far as infections go. So obviously, I think even deaths that aren't attributed to COVID are a factor of COVID. Say that someone said to themselves, I'm so sick, but I'm not going to go to the hospital because of COVID. And then they pass away in their home. Well, is it COVID related? Well, indirectly, directly, yes, it is. So the numbers are quite high. Vaccine on the way. They keep saying vaccine is on the way.
Now, just so we know your point of view, I know your point of view. Now, but when you say the numbers are too high, do you mean that the numbers are literally too high for the country, or do you think that the numbers are fibbed in a way?
Well,
let me ask you that.
The CDC says in all likelihood it's 8 times higher.
Yeah, not less, higher.
No, not less, higher, excuse me.
And that is, but that's what I'm asking you is, personally, I think that it's rather underreported as well. I just hear from other people that, this virus is a hoax. It's overdone. It's whatever. And I just want to know what maybe your opinion is on those people that deny what's going on. I'm not saying you're one of those types. I'm just saying, what do you think of those types?
I believe that they live in a fantasy where if they wish long enough, problems will just go away. And it's been my experience that as much as I've wished my life problems to go away, I finally had to put on my big boy pants and face the issue and overcome
grow up.
Yep, exactly.
It's kind of funny because you have all these immature people on my Facebook page, and they're like, especially 4 years ago when they were like, oh, well, F your feelings, support the president, da da da. And now they're saying they're going to kill us, possibly, or kill people that do support the incoming president. And it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that is anonymous bullying. I think our population at large has been pulled into the online bullying. Used to be young children in grade school were getting bullied by other mean kids online. Well,
and I got my fair share. I probably picked on one or two kids here and there, including my own brother, So, I mean, it happens, you kind of fall in between something, But now we're at the point where people are bullying each other just over being safe, just over, doing the practical thing. And that just makes no sense to me.
Well, they've had the past 4 years of getting away with being bullies online. And where it
do you think it's their golden days? Do you think it's their, I did so well, high school were my best days, so I'm just going to be that punk back from high school?
I'm sure that there is a part of that. I'm sure that there's a part of that. So in countering that, obstruction, that brick wall that's in your face, there are things that you can do if you are a believer that COVID exists, if you believe in the scientists, if you don't believe in political dogma, it's a great word, that there are things that you can do to help your head, such as reaching out to others. And if you're confined or you isolate yourself, doesn't mean that your phone doesn't work. And you can call friends that you haven't spoke with for a long period of time. And when you get off the phone with someone you love dearly and haven't spoken with for a long period of time, you got that warm feeling going on.
Yeah, definitely.
You've got your head on straight. And you can get through at least another day or at least a portion of the day. So, there are some common sense things that you can do to alleviate your mental stress in regard to COVID. If you're isolating, if you're maintaining small pods of safety, continue to do so.
If you're maintaining strict protocols and procedures. I mean, even when I was working in IT with computers, if you're to isolate, you're supposed to isolate your data away from the internet, basically. Because if you don't, it's a possible vector for someone to come in to attack and either alter the data or steal it or just mess it up.
So you're saying that the COVID virus is very much like a digital virus in a
way it is. I mean, the way viruses, it's not a one-to-one relationship, but it definitely comes with the same kind of verbiage on
the protocols to get rid of it.
To get rid of a virus, to isolate and to kill the virus, To
safeguard other systems.
Yes.
To isolate the virus.
Yes.
To kill the virus.
Yep.
So that you can open up all your other systems.
Yeah. Because if you let that virus spread rampantly and, you can't really hope for herd immunity, herd mentality in a computer server farm, that's just not going to work too well for you. You're just going to let it spread and propagate. I don't think so.
Sure.
And when you think of it that way with humans, it's like, oh, that makes sense, because us humans are integrated in so many different systems of like government and or jobs and or society and or being the coach of a team and or just all these different types of things basically. So everything is just interweaved anyway. So to just say, oh well, I'm just going to take whatever risk I want, that doesn't fly because you're endangering all those communities that you're part of.
That's a fact. Yeah, if you were only affecting yourself, that'd be one thing.
Yeah.
But everyone's a walking typhoid Mary.
Yeah, if someone wants to stick a needle in their arm and they're dead, fine. I don't care. Honestly, go nuts. But
Just don't stick a needle in my arm.
Right, no.
And take me with you.
No, exactly. So, don't line me up in a ditch either.
I'd like to mention briefly about how we're isolating.
Sure.
We live in a beautiful valley of western Montana, and we are able to stay in the house or around the house or on the property pretty much week in, week out. The only time I take a long-range trip is once a week to shop, and when we bring anything into the house, whether it's a package from Amazon or whether it's a package of food, we bring it right into the garage, through the garage door to a decontamination table, and with alcoholic swipes, they're wiped down. And when everything's been wiped down, then it comes into the house. There is nothing that comes through our front door, to include people. Mm-hmm. Maybe we'll let our cats in.
That's different.
But they're part of the pod.
Yeah, they're part of our pod.
But that is a procedure that, if you're able to do the same thing, seems to work for us. So let me reiterate that. Nothing comes through our front door. Mm-hmm. Everything goes through the garage immediately to a decontamination table. It's wiped down prior to it brought into the house. Of course, I'm wearing my mask, and people look sideways at me for wearing gloves.
And that's what I hate. I hate that part is politicized. It's, there shouldn't even be political sides in doing the smart thing, the right thing. Like back in World War II, you wouldn't have been seen as a Democrat or Republican based on the ration system. You were just doing your part.
True. But the reason that I giggle is that when we first started wearing masks, there was a lot of finger pointing and yelling across the aisle.
Yeah.
And yelling across the aisle and stuff. But you wear a mask and rubber gloves. Sure. People aren't looking at your mask. They're wondering what you're going to do with them rubber gloves.
Yep. I mean, always be prepared, I guess.
No one's bending over for anything they drop.
No.
Okay. We're gonna move. We'll revisit COVID in the coming shows.
Yep.
And let's move on.
One of the things too that we've been focusing on too, one of the things is, it's a practical reason, but also it's a real reason, is we've been getting into prepping a little bit here and there.
Now,
by prepping, we need to specify what that means.
Yeah, we're talking about realistic prepping. We have not dug big holes in our garage and put shipping crates in.
We don't have a John Wick room. We don't have silver bars. We don't have...
No. And if you're prepping, hopefully you're doing it in a realistic manner that fits your scenario. But if you've got that container buried in the ground with bunks and stuff, good for you.
Right.
Good for you for not knocking it.
No.
But we haven't done that and have no plans to do that.
No. But, there are some things, though. For example, in California, for example, they had tons of power outages and planned power outages because there's too much load on the electrical lines. Mm-hmm. So what they have to do is now they have to take certain weekends in certain addresses, and they have to literally take the whole weekend off and not have any power.
So
I didn't want to run into that scenario here in Montana.
Yes.
So, and that's why I got into basically anything that can run an electrical motor, so electricity, gas, water, all that stuff, propane. I've been learning how all these certain systems work in an emergency.
You need a steam boiler.
Steam boiler, yeah. One of the things I do have right now, though, is I do have solar panels, and I do have Renogy batteries, and I do have, and basically with the setup from Renogy, it's really cool. I'm not promoted by them at all or anything. I'm just telling you what I have. But basically, an inverter ties to the batteries. You can plug in a regular AC outlet, plug, and it'll basically take DC power from the batteries and make it AC power into electrical.
Through your charge?
Through the charge control. Yeah, so the charge controller takes the solar panel energy, it converts it and puts into the batteries. The batteries then take the inverter and then takes the power and moves it into AC power. And then therefore you can plug in your electrical appliances through that.
And you need to, I've also seen you working with that, you need to keep your batteries topped off every day.
You don't need to every day, but I do try to get them topped off. I do try to at least throw one panel outside if it's a semi-sunny day out and try to at least top off the batteries. And I do try to run an electrical load through it. How I like to do is I like to run the stereo
through
it. So there's a way to actually, have some fun with it.
So the sun provides you with music.
Yes.
Via a link.
Sun-powered music. Yes.
Sun-powered music.
Well, not only that, the sun actually, not this desktop here, but pretty much every laptop of mine, every portable device of mine that has a battery, it runs through that. They're all charging through that electrical subsystem.
So all your solar equipment, I heard you mention, was from Renogy?
Yeah.
Shout out to Renogy.
Shout out to Renogy. Seriously, I mean, we're open to sponsorship too. So, but we don't have any yet. So
no, yeah. Full
disclosure. We have nothing. Yeah. We're just starting.
Well, I was talking about realistic prepping.
Sure.
So, anything you can do to prep. When they say hurricane so and so is coming through, or a major snowstorm's going to happen and you need your batteries and you need you need to board up your windows and stuff, well, pay attention to that stuff. And if you haven't done it, winter's coming in Montana. I don't know where all the viewers are tuning in from, but in western Montana, in December, it's wintertime. And we've prepped for winter. We know where our snow shovels are. We know where our snowplow is.
Our boots.
That is a realistic preparation. And so anything that you can do to make your life better for tomorrow, well, get her done today. Try to get some things done today. A smaller example is a medical kit. Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Medical kit. Oh, I'll be okay. My neighbor's got a medical kit. Well, your neighbor's not going to use his medical kit on you. So, assemble something.
Maybe, but he won't use it on you, so...
I mean, if you have nothing, get something. You might appreciate having a medical kit that you can stop some minor injuries or take care of some minor injuries.
Sure, minor lacerations, sprains.
Sure,
I get that.
Food. You're already, if you're not, prepping like the bunker guy or like us Mouthy Montanans are, you are at least grocery shopping. So remember to rotate your food. If you buy food this week and you put it in your cabinet,
don't forget about it. Eat it.
Don't forget it. Well,
I mean, it sounds dumb, but how much, before COVID, how much food was thrown away before maybe now? I mean, we try not to throw away really any food.
Right. But what I was talking about is you put your new can of beans behind the existing can of beans and then you eat those beans first so that you're always rotating.
First in, first out. That's basic rotation.
Right.
Yeah.
Another thing that you might not think about in prepping, it's always, I got to go buy this. I got to get this. I got to make that. You can do yourself a favor by getting your finances together, figuring out what you don't need to spend, what you don't need to buy. A lot of times you'll have way more money if you just sit down and agree with yourself that there are just some things that you don't need to buy right now. I mean, this is a COVID season. You can only do what you can do, but do something to prepare yourself for a better day tomorrow. Anything. Batteries. You were talking about your Renogy batteries.
Sure. Yeah, those are basically just AGM truck batteries. I mean, you can literally find them in trucks. And essentially you can power them any which way. You can power them through solar. You can power, I mean, these are just lead acid batteries, essentially, that are maintenance free. Right. And they do cost a little more, but for the maintenance part, maintenance free part, but They still work pretty well.
So you plan to show our viewers your setup here?
Oh, yeah.
One of these days?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Right on. Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well,
soon.
I think I hit my talking points. Yeah, see, I'm old school. I got a piece of paper. Probably will always have a piece of paper. You know what? No batteries.
Right. Let's see. What's the other thing I would say? One of the things that's helped me get through this pandemic and boring time too is tech appreciation.
Tech.
Yes.
Gotta have it.
Well, for example, this computer I have over here, we just built this one. The last computer I had was 8 years old. Even for a computer tech like me, that's way too old. So we needed an editing computer, and we, spec'd it and put it together, and that's basically what we're recording off of right now. And I'm appreciating getting somewhat back into that without having to dive fully back into IT.
We're recording right now in Audacity.
Yeah.
Again, not a sponsor.
No.
Again, only a shout out.
Sure. Yeah. Let's see. What else? I like video games. I like movies. I like watching shows. We've been getting into The Mandalorian. Recently, no spoilers, but we've been getting into The Mandalorian.
Great entertainment, great fantasy.
Mm-hmm. We've also been getting into Clone Wars a little bit because some of that ties into Mandalorian as well.
See, we're entertaining ourselves in our little pod.
And that's the thing is, that I have to wonder, is yes, I do live in one of the best states in the world for outdoors. Yes, it's worth taking advantage of. But at the same time, you can't find anything to do inside? What is it with these people? You can't, maybe I'm getting back into COVID now, but, it's a matter of why can't people just stay the hell inside?
Well,
I don't know.
If it's just not safe to go outside. Now, there are many people that take advantage of the outside, of course. We are the exception, not the rule. There are people that are out snowmobiling right now.
Oh, yeah.
There are people out riding their horses right now.
Mm-hmm.
There are people. There's enjoyment to be had outside right now. We just aren't doing it. We don't.
We're boring. No. Yeah. See everybody. Western Montana views. No. So no. We do get out. We do stuff, but it's just when it's super cold out or when it's November to about March. There's just not as much to do.
Right. Well, I'm not
and that's just a fact.
I'm not a snowmobiler because I hate getting stuck.
True.
And the younger men hate pulling my sled out. So I don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't ski.
Mm-hmm. What do you do? What do you do? What do you like to do outside Western Montana? Yeah, what do you like to do?
I like to camp.
Okay, camping, yeah.
We don't own a boat now, but for many, many years we owned outboard boats.
Yeah, let's list the things that people would enjoy us saying, oh yeah, that's great, instead of, saying we don't do those things, I guess is what I'm saying.
Right. Well, boating, hunting.
Sure.
Camping.
Yeah.
Getting into the woods far enough that you don't have to see anybody all weekend. Who doesn't like that?
I like that.
Yeah, I like my animals. Hell, I like mowing my lawn.
Mm-hmm.
Put an iPod in your ears and.
But is your life, besides concerts, besides restaurants, besides, meeting up with friends and not having to worry about COVID, is there really a whole lot different than how you've lived life the last few years after working for 25 years?
Well, I've never been someone that was, there's a mean term, a social butterfly. I've never felt compelled to always be around people. I've been quite good with my own self.
Sure.
And maybe that is your view of yourself or whatever, but I think I'm an all right guy, and I spend a lot of time by myself. So, I enjoy people. I miss a handshake. Thank you, COVID. I miss hugs. I'm kind of a huggy guy. Thanks again, COVID.
Yeah.
But someday, with some common sense and a little bit of care, we'll get back to that point of at least a handshake.
Yeah, I think we'll get back to handshaking eventually. Once vaccinations happen, it might be a little while, but
Right.
I think that'll come back.
Right, but there are always things to enjoy in life. I mean, take another look at your pet. Take another look at your horse. Take
some old stuff. Like I have my Super Nintendo. I mean, back to tech appreciation. I'm playing some Super Nintendo, some Legend of Zelda. I'm going back old school, playing Super Mario Kart.
Well,
it's digging back into your closet and finding some cool treasures again. And maybe it's not tech, maybe it's something else.
Right. Well, even if you're the prepper with a storage crate buried in your backyard and fully fitted to go, then let me ask you this. When was the last time you cleaned your weapons? I mean, it's something to do.
Mm-hmm.
There is always something to do.
Yeah, that's what I'm noticing in this COVID stuff is there's no... I mean, as far as being bored, I think I've only been bored a handful of times since COVID started. Like, truly, like, I am bored.
Yeah, well...
otherwise I have figured things out to do.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
What else? Otherwise, for tech appreciation, I'm just loving the fact that, what used to take up a room, for example, can now fit on this desktop PC, and probably in about 5-10 years, all these specs are going to fit onto this phone, or about this size of phone.
Yeah.
So, for me as a tech nerd, that's cool. It basically allows me to kind of just try different things out, whether it's, from a surveillance perspective, from a drone perspective, from a, just maybe something makes my coffee in the morning, that's kind of the stuff that I'm looking to do. Yeah.
I like my snowplow.
You like your snowplow? I do. I like your snowplow too. That's you'll have to show that off at some time too. Once you start getting some snow,
it's a honey.
We'll have to sit in there and probably just sit with the camera and just look at that. It'd be fun.
Yeah, and that's old tech is something to be appreciated too.
Definitely, fire pits. If we install a fire pit, that's about as old of a technology as you can get.
For those families with young kids and stuff that have grown up, have you dug out some of your old gaming platforms?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, go find your Nintendo.
That's what I was saying. I brought up my Super Nintendo, yeah.
Go get an air hose and blow the dust out of it and plug that sucker in.
And just have fun, honestly. I mean,
right.
Some of it's just... look through your stuff again. I mean, I'm noticing people going through old photo albums. I notice people going through old, just old stuff, and they're just having a fun time doing it. That's What I would also say too is as much as I appreciate the tech appreciation, turn off the social media, turn off the news. Unless you're deliberately looking for a news item, don't just look for any kind of news that pops across your Facebook feed. That's not going to work.
No, it's easy to run into bad vibes on the internet.
Well, it's not just bad vibes. It's feeding you what you want to see.
That's the other part. One is hurting your feelings. The other is telling you what you want to hear.
Yeah.
And either way, both of those are lies.
Yep.
If you think you're an all right guy,
yep,
you probably are.
Yeah.
And you don't need the reinforcement from the internet to tell you, oh, you're great. Because
there's a lot of people that do, though. I mean,
well,
that's the thing. I don't know if you realize there is a lot.
Well, thankfully,
and you're not a teenager, So there's that too.
And the other fortunate thing is that as far as computers and the digital world and the internet, and I don't know nothing about it. And you know what? I think I sleep better at night knowing that I don't have the critics out there hating me and wishing me harm.
There's always going to be haters, though.
Yeah, but I don't have to read their stuff.
True. Yeah.
Delete. I know what a delete button is. So.
Right, and we can filter through too. Let's see. Anything else you'd like to bring up before we close out for the day?
Oh, well, this is one of our first shows, and so we are a little rough around the collar, and
oh yeah,
but we have high hopes for ourselves. It's called polish.
Yeah, we have ideas.
Yeah, but we'll be back. We'll be revisiting topics like COVID and tech appreciation and prepping, and might get a little bit more specific.
Yep.
Keep your ejection ports closed. It keeps the dirt out of the bolt.
All right, everybody. Well, I think that's all for now. Be sure to hit the like and subscribe button. It really does help the channel. Patreon and Twitter are coming soon. I might include Instagram. I might not. There might be a few other things here and there in the works, but that's all we have planned for right now. We just wanted to get going and started on our channel. No time like the present. I'm Ryan.
I'm Lee.
We're the Mouthy Montanans.
And welcome to Western Montana Views. See you later.
Have a nice day.